Americans.
Okay, as promised, next up, the Nike men's 1,500 meters. Rob Myers has the meet record. Bernard Lagat, the U.S. best that he ran overseas earlier in the season. And it's a big, big field, 12 runners on this 200-meter track.
Got to be careful here that nobody, gets tripped up, nobody gets spiked, all that stuff. And Myers ran really well at the Tyson Invitational, breaking 3:58, 3:57.82, if I recall correctly. And good early season performance for him in his quest to make the Olympic team.
And Steve Sherer, the former Michigan State star, who ran 3:56 earlier in the season, has just been getting steadily better and better. A real great race setting up here, but again, so many guys, and in a national championship, you often will see it go tactical.
It certainly will, and let's see if this one does. Sherer and Myers have met the qualifying standards, so they automatically can go if someone else doesn't get that standard. And they have to run at least 3:43 to make the team, as far as who performs well here.
Pretty well-known names from the middle distance group. Gabe Jennings, who was an Olympian in 2000. Grant Robison, a former Stanford standout. And Jennings has had quite the odyssey. There he is, looking more like his normal self.
Doesn't he look like a poet or a writer? Somebody be signing a book at Barnes & Noble or something?
Finished third here last year. We were a little surprised, and then really didn't see a lot of him in the outdoor season. Didn't make the World Championship team to Osaka. But two of these athletes will make the team to go to Valencia, Spain.
Jennings back in shape for you Jennings fans. And his first sub-4-minute mile performance was just a week and a half ago in Seattle, Washington, for the first sub-4-minute mile since 2001 for Gabe Jennings. That's indoors, of course. We even have false starts here because we're live, of course, and this is in the equivalent of the metric mile, no less. I once saw a false start, Dwight, I swear, in a marathon. They called it back.
Not much of an advantage to be gained at the start of a middle distance race here. They just weren't settled down and losing a little balance there.
Part of the problem is sometimes a starter will hold them too long while they're leaning over, and then they lean too far. Once they're down crouched, fire that gun.
So now there's a false start on the field. The next person who false starts, and it's ridiculous to even discuss it, will be thrown out of the race. And it appears Kalpanatit Broderick was the person guilty. And now we're off. Oh, no, we're not.
No.
Well, someone now doesn't get a chance to run unless there was a mechanical failure or a timing failure of some kind. Should mention that only Steve Sherer and Rob Myers have the qualifying standard for the Worlds. And someone else getting on that team would have to finish in the top two and run under 3:43, which is about the metrical equivalent of a 4-minute mile.
Well, this is a first if someone gets thrown out. I don't know. Did anybody get thrown out?
Well, maybe the first false start they decided was mechanical. Anyway, they're throwing no one out. Somebody had their foot on the line, so no harm, no foul. Everybody gets to run, all 12. And by this time, the race could have already been run. And we're off finally. 12 guys. Hopefully they will sort themselves out quickly because it's so easy to get into trouble and catch a spike and somebody goes down. At least they're going out a lot more honestly than the ladies did last night. Kalpanatit Broderick almost acting as a rabbit, which is stringing the group out nicely. Gabe Jennings trying to get into fourth.
Broderick ran 4:02 last week, Dwight, up in Seattle on that 292-meter track at the University of Washington. So he's for real. But you're right, he's really powering along here. We'll catch his 400-meter split.
So Rob Myers comfortably in second place. Broderick continuing to lead. Sean O'Brien, and then we've got Gabe Jennings in fifth.
57.8.
Well, they are moving along nicely. 57.8 seconds for the first 400 meters of this 1,500-meter race.
And that gets you a sense of how good a track this is for these middle distance and above races. That might be a little bit of nerves, a little bit of excitement for the youngster, Broderick.
Russell Brown running very comfortably. Former Stanford star, had a terrific career there at Stanford, and he is back in third place right now.
So it continues to be Broderick as he almost loses his balance and almost steps on the curb. Rob Myers comfortably back in second. Russell Brown third, and Sean O'Brien. And Gabe Jennings is starting to fall off a little bit. He's moved back to about seventh. He's surging up to about fourth and then moved back to seventh. And the way they've strung themselves out, it looks like they're out of trouble a little bit. Steve Sherer back in eighth at this point in time. Still plenty of time.
I think definitely they'll be under 2 minutes here. No question about it. Well, it shouldn't be that quick. 1:59.8. They slowed down on that 200 meters. They were a little quicker through the first 3 laps of the 4 laps it takes to get to 800 meters. And look at him. He's pushing hard now. Broderick really working. And Myers is probably totally happy with that. Brown is very strong over his last lap. He's got a good kick. He's a very solid runner, the man in third place.
Well, Broderick is helping make the race for someone other than Myers or Sherer, trying to get the qualifying standard, and I would include himself in that probably.
True.
So it continues to be Broderick, then Myers, Brown, O'Brien. Will Leer is also up there, and Gabe Jennings is nicely boxed in eighth on the inside.
Myers with 2 laps to go takes over.
Then we had a little mix-up there, but nobody goes down. But that does take a lot out of you. Broderick has dropped out. That pace was just too much. It's as if he was rabbiting that race. Steve Sherer now up to fifth as Rob Myers now taking up the leading duties, and these guys want to go.
2:59.9 through the first 1,200 meters. And this is going to be a close finish. I think there'll be a number of people in close contention. Here comes Sherer on the outside. 1 to go.
It's Myers and Sherer, and Myers moving out to try and blunt the drive.
Boxed in is Russell Brown on the inside in the maroon.
Myers is in full sprint. Myers, Brown, Sherer. It's going to be very close to them all being under the standard. That would be good news for Russell Brown. Rob Myers really digging down deep, and Brown will get the standard. Sherer off the team.
3 minutes 40.89 of a second. Excellent time. That's about a 3:58 or so mile here on this indoor oval, and there were probably 3 or 4 people that got under the equivalent of a 4-minute mile.
The first 5 were under the standard, including Russell Brown, 3:41.20, as we'd like it to look at this last half lap.
Watch Myers here. Trained sometimes at Ohio State and back home in the Midwest as well. He had good speed down at Fayetteville, was too far back, and he made sure he was right up at the lead pack for the last 200 meters of this race. And nobody could catch him. Good arm action, driving hard, and he didn't fade at all off that. Russell Brown closed well for the second spot going to Valencia, Spain next month for the World Indoor Championships.
So Rob Myers returning to the top spot after being the national champion 4 years ago. Russell Brown will have to decide if he wants to go to Valencia, Spain. Of course, Steve Sherer might still have a chance to go and run there. But those are your top 3. An excellent race for this 1,500 meters.